Author Douglas Wood has had a fascination with nature throughout his entire life. He's written countless stories for both children and adults, with many of them keeping the same message about saving the earth. Wood recently spent time with kids at the Bemidji Library Book Festival to share some of those books. Jackson Bruner has more on this week's In Focus.
Many of Douglas Wood's ideas stem from his music. The first book he ever had published, titled Old Turtle, is no exception. It's about how all things are connected in nature, and he thought of it after performing for kids.
As I drove away from the school, just pulling out, I could hear the words of a story in my head, like a song, because I'm a songwriter, but there wasn't any music. It was just these words.
On a little green speck, on a little blue ball, in a big black sky, all alone.
In writing about nature, Wood wants the next generation to learn a simple message: protecting our planet is important.
You cannot separate nature from us, and so those stories help us remember that in a really important way.
Since my earliest memories, I've been an outdoors kid, and I feel at home in the outdoors. Aside from writing books and doing my music, I've spent a lot of my career as a wilderness guide. For me, being outdoors and spending time outdoors is extremely important, and I've been lucky enough as a guide to help other people experience the outdoors in a way where it's beyond just catching fish or hunting, which I like to do those things, but there's something deeper at work in the human spirit.
Wood shared a book called Rabbit in the Moon with kids in Bemidji. In the story, a rabbit tries to enlist help from other animals in a hope of reaching the moon. The rabbit eventually succeeds after failing to find help several times. The book's message is to never give up, and in some ways it relates to challenges Wood faced himself as a child. Wood didn't know about it at the time, but his classroom struggles were caused by both attention deficit disorder and dyslexia, conditions that forced him to adapt and learn to read at a slower pace.
That made school in general difficult, and reading difficult, anything where you have to focus on one thing. It's easy for me to relate to kids who maybe have some troubles in school and have challenges to overcome. We all have challenges to overcome, but when you're able to put your own experience into your relationship with someone else and be empathetic with another child or with an audience, it makes it easier to connect.
And connect they did in Bemidji through both songs and reading. For this week's In Focus, Jackson Bruner, Lakeland News.
If you've enjoyed this segment of Lakeland News, please consider making a tax-deductible contribution to Lakeland Public Television.